All righty. We are live. We will allow a few more people to jump on because it takes some time to recoup after such an awesome main event over at the Survivor Series. And we just finished watching that. We're going to get right into it. We want to welcome everyone for being with us tonight. Welcome to another edition of Vegas Badboyz of podcasting. I'm DJ Impact. You got Matt Michaels here, and it would just be us two tonight. We might possibly hear from Sin City Steve. Maybe he is at the Impact tapings tonight, so hopefully a lot of us, a lot of the Vegas folks are out there supporting and showing some love to the tapings of Impact. So we may hear from them, but we may not. We got a lot going on, a lot of wrestling that took place. We're even going to talk about what happened at Impact. If you happen to be on Facebook Live, please put your chats in, and I'm going to try to get it in as I can. And going to have a lot of fun tonight. So thanks again for hanging out with us. All right, Matt Michaels, we got to go right into Survivor Series that just took place. And for the most part, I will tell you, I don't think it was a bad show. I don't. Unfortunately, the girls, the women's match of Raw versus SmackDown almost took a beating because the fans appeared to not care.
Oh, not just the fans.
Oh, you didn't care either, huh?
Oh no, that was the worst one on the whole card.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I guess it can't always be the best, but I mean, they try as much as they can. But
the it I think it set the tone of what the match was going to be when Carmella got eliminated because she needed her mask and called a timeout. It's just like, all right, it's gonna be just fucking stupid. Plus, at that point,
mhm.
if you'd been paying attention to the score count, I think at that point SmackDown had only won the pre-show match.
Yeah, where did I put down? Oh, okay. So yeah, it was 3-1. And that was SmackDown. Yeah, so yeah, it
Yeah,
was Raw that was 3. It was Raw 3, SmackDown 1 at that time.
yeah. So you basically were going to have to give that women's match to SmackDown, and then of course we knew that Roman was not going to lose that match.
Right, right, yeah. Yeah. And I won't lie, I actually thought that I didn't think there was going to be a winner, despite the fact that they did run a DQ at the pre-show. I again just thought maybe they were going to
What do you mean there wasn't going to be a winner in what?
in the main event. I thought it was just going to just end up being an interference of some sort.
Yeah, but there would be a winner.
Well, that's true. Well, I mean, I guess a pin. That's what I mean. You're right. It would be a winner. There still would be a winner, but not a
That's why
pin.
I was
That's what I was
confused.
thinking.
I'm like,
I'm
even
sorry,
on the
man.
pre-show, Damian Priest lost because he got disqualified for breaking Rick Boog's guitar.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
man.
wait, see, so what did he get disqualified for?
Because he hit Shinsuke with that
Did he?
guitar.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I
Yeah.
didn't even realize that. I just thought he
Right.
broke the guitar, and so they disqualified him.
Nah. I guess he turned like really mean and disgruntled, mean heel, you know. We got to see from Damian Priest. So, but it was a good match though. It was a great kickoff match. So to get things started.
Yeah, they
But
could have put the battle royal on that instead. It would have cut down time, you know, from the actual show being
yeah.
a half an hour over. The Battle Royal accomplished absolutely nothing,
True.
and it was still better than a women's match. So the women's elimination match. So
Oh man. Oh man. They
no, really,
tried.
too, that was a period of time from the beginning of that Battle Royal until the end of the women's elimination match. I mean, that was all one block, right? Well, they threw in the tag match in between the two,
Right.
which helped that, out because
Yeah.
it just already felt like it was, 2 hours of watching that Battle Royal and the women elimination match. So
Yeah. Uh yeah, I don't know what to think about that. I mean, I don't know. Did they just have the wrong if people in that match? I mean, for the most part, you had a good crew. I mean, what made it so bad? The women's match we're talking about.
what made it so bad?
Yeah.
It was pointless. Who gained anything from that match at all?
And so who gained anything from the men's?
Are you kidding me? The men's match was fucking bell to bell story, and a one single fucking person winning it. Come on, man. The women's
Okay.
match had no story to it. It was just like, hey, these are people in the match. Oh, okay. Bianca and Sasha get to face off again. All right, fine, whatever. Who cares?
And Sasha and Shotzi, they have an issue with each other.
Oh yeah, that was huge, man. Oh, I can't wait to see that feud.
Yeah. All right.
Come on, Rhea Ripley gets fucking put down by who the fuck was? I mean, yeah. You had Shayna Baszler, who was, the person who was choking everyone out and whatnot, and she didn't turn on anyone on her team.
Mm-hmm.
It made no there were certain things that just made no sense in terms of you look at the guys' side of it, and it was laid out very well. Austin Theory and Jeff Hardy. Do we not see those two cross paths? And who got the best of Austin Theory? Jeff Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
Seth
Yeah.
goes over on Hardy, as he should have. They let Hardy go until the last person on his team.
That's true. But Hardy, I mean, there was no storyline between like Hardy or Seth.
No, but the match made sense.
True. Okay.
Yeah,
I got what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just that it made sense. It was a buildup. It like, to be honest, Hardy should never even been in the match because he really has no place other than being enhancement talent. So to give him that length to the end, that is something that you gave the fans in anticipation that maybe he could pull this off because it's Jeff fucking Hardy. If you would have had someone else on that team potentially be in that position, it might not have played the same type of feel because you were expecting Jeff Hardy to be eliminated quickly.
Okay. I can see that. Well, hey, at least they started off strong, right? Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, that match was awesome. And
then the main event.
The main event, even over Roman and Big E.
It was a way better match.
It was definitely an awesome match. And the ending was perfect.
Yeah.
The ending was perfect.
Exactly. Exactly. The Roman Reigns match, you could have put it on before that match because, again, all you did was have Roman Reigns beat Big E clean on a fucking pin.
Right, yeah.
I mean, what did that accomplish?
it makes Roman just unstoppable, which he's already been. So it's nothing
Yeah.
really new to come out of that.
The only match he technically lost since he won the title was what did he get counted out or disqualified recently within the last 2 weeks? So, I mean, at this point, that's the thing. It's like, well, there were no angles on that like, where the fuck was Xavier Wood? Wood should have been there. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you just had this whole thing with SmackDown and him in the crowd and blah blah blah. Where the fuck was he?
Yeah, in fact, half of that promo had Woods in it.
Yeah.
At first I'm like, boy, you sure more than Woods? Before I know they were leading up to Big E coming out there to to make the surprise for SmackDown, but still it was a pretty big promo with Woods in it. So yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah, I mean, if you were going to do something, why didn't you have at least that, tie in? You just had him beat Big E. So so what's Big E's value now? What if I mean, he's a guy who just got the championship a little bit ago, and you go and you could have you make him look strong because he didn't he didn't lose quickly, and you had him get an offense in, but
that's the same thing I thought about when how Bianca had lost to Becky in terms of her. I mean,
don't forget that was a whole different fucking situation because that was so quick. That's why that was not necessarily, called for, because it was 35 seconds. If Roman Reigns would have beat Big E in 35 seconds, then you're not making Big E look strong. You're basically saying, go away.
Right.
What I'm saying is,
yeah,
why did you not have something else involved in him actually losing the match? That's it. Very simple.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming they're probably just thinking, going back to even what I was saying about Bianca, fans ain't gonna care. He'll be back on Monday. He'll come out and do the same thing, and fans are just, celebrate and cheer. Not necessarily look at him as weak, but still look at him as a strong champion. Even though we can kind of see how tonight doesn't necessarily make him look like that going into Monday.
Yeah, but Bianca though had the again, there was that whole, it was supposed to be Bianca versus Sasha.
Right.
And the whole idea of COVID, and something happened and we didn't know. Listen, to this day, you don't know what the fuck was up with Bianca. Right? It was never disclosed. Did she have COVID or did she not have COVID? So it's a different situation here, though.
But why does that matter? Because the fact that we don't know if she had it or not, I mean, from a TV perspective,
if she couldn't have gone more than 35 seconds, then it was justified. But we're not talking about that fucking match. We're talking about Big E, who you have his New Day partner in a fucking feud for 2 weeks leading up to this with Roman, and you don't fucking even use the guy.
So, okay, so let's just say that what capacity would have Woods play in that? Because if he interfered at any point, now it seems like he could be getting Big E was going to lose regardless.
What if Woods cost Big E the match?
Okay, so now you're trying to get rid of split up the whole idea of them trying to keep their brotherhood still together.
No, it wasn't on purpose.
Okay. I mean, I could see that, but at the same time, I mean, normally in those terms, when you see something like that happen, that's saying something else is about to happen, like a split between a group.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
they're on two different brands.
I
That's what I'm
understand
saying.
that.
Logically, they're on two different brands. So why couldn't Woods come out and if it looked like Big E was going to lose the match, right? You know, have him go, where the fuck were the Usos?
Well, I actually thought, and that's kind of why I didn't think there was even going to be a pin, because I thought there was going to be all this sort of, Usos coming out, Xavier coming out.
It would have led to a pin. You know,
Yeah.
somehow, you know, Big E gets hit with something when he's, you know, when other schmaz is going on outside of the ring, or the ref's back is turned, and that fucking happens, and then you know, that's how you do it without it being Big E and Woods now have any type of friction. You haven't tried to save Roman or save Big E because the Usos are out. And then you also get an announcement before the match starts that Brock Lesnar's suspension is lifted. So where the fuck was Brock Lesnar then?
Right, yeah.
You know, and then we're essentially getting a little bit of a tease about The Rock and Roman, right?
Right. Yep.
So, you know, that's always something that is floated around, where that could have been, if that was set up, the place would have fucking gone bonkers.
Well, they were already sort of calling his name as if he was there, or hoping he was there.
You know, what made no sense too, during the it starts with 96 and his debut, and they do the Rumble, the tournament in 98, and then they do when he then he all of a sudden it's him winning the Royal Rumble in 2000 in the Garden, and then WrestleMania, and then SmackDown. It's like, wait a minute, I thought this was the 25th anniversary of him and Survivor Series, right? That's what
right. Yeah.
So, but the biggest news of all, you know, throughout the night was what happened to the egg.
What happened at the end?
No, what happened to the egg?
Oh, the egg. Right. Yes.
You know, that's like $100 million trillion billion that egg.
And to lose that, I mean, Vinnie Mac not happy.
Well, he didn't even lose. Yeah, like it was taken, it was stolen.
Well, you know, they were in Brooklyn, so you know.
Well, crime time wasn't there. You know.
You know, it's so funny that they played that up twice, because, you know, when Vince said it, you know, like no one in the audience really caught it or paid any attention, so it was just kind of flew by. Yeah. But when Paul said it again, it actually was heard, and now the crowd booed at it. So it was like, we need to reiterate that it's probably Brooklyn.
Well, and you know, if they were smart, I would just say that it was Hit Row who stole the egg.
You might as well. Why not? I mean, come on.
Just bury him on the way out. Just
yeah.
They still had their employee IDs, were able to get backstage and just took the egg.
Yeah.
And,
that would have been awesome.
Watch when the egg shows up on AEW this week.
What if they tried to get one of those makeshift eggs to throw it out there?
If they were fucking smart, they would do it. And you don't even have to put it into a story or anything. You literally just have someone goes through the curtain at the end of a match. Tony Khan's sitting there at the table, and the egg is just sitting on the table.
The egg is there.
No acknowledgement. You just make sure it's in the shot.
Dude, that would be awesome. At the same time, it would be trolling, but still, that would be funny as hell.
Well, that's why you do it, to troll. I mean, that's all Tony Khan is a fucking grown-up troll.
Hey, listen, if they do that, then we definitely have confirmation, and we thank you all for listening to the show. We appreciate it. If you can give us some of the talent from over there, we would love to interview the great talent over there at AEW. So please, while you're listening to the show, bring them over. We could do a lot. We could kind of help you build what you guys are trying to do. So I'm just saying.
Hey,
But
man. Hey, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's go for the real thing. If that shows up on Wednesday, Tony Khan owes us, like, I don't know, what's a good, like, $5,000 for the idea?
Yeah.
Let's do that. So Tony, just cash app us $5,000.
Yeah, that's money sign Vegas Badboyz. That's the Cash App. And
you don't even have to put it, Tony. If you don't even want us to have your Cash App information, don't send it under yours. Put it under someone. Put it under.
Can't you do it as anonymous?
No, put it under Luther's, because he's not being used really. So, like, it would make sense, right? You know, it'd be like so under the radar. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Overall, though, man, like I say, I thought it was a good show, man. Despite the little slowness we had getting towards the end, man, I was hyped. I like how they started it, and like how they ended it. So, good on them.
It's not going to be well received by Dave Meltzer.
Oh, we know that. Oh, he's everyone's gonna be D matches. He might get because he doesn't like Charlotte. So he might give a C to the kickoff show to Damian and Shinsuke. He might give them a C, but everyone else is between D and F.
No, he didn't see this kickoff show. What are you kidding? He just makes that shit up anyway. So I know in his wisdom, he thought that the Battle Royal, just having the guys and the SmackDown and Raw shirts by, it's frustrating with Dave Meltzer because he thought it was very visually distracting, and that in itself shows that he doesn't watch the fucking shows,
right? Because
they've been doing this in interbrand battle royals
absolutely
since 2005.
Right. Yeah.
So I guess Meltzer he probably popped then when Rude ripped off his shirt and Ziggler threw his shirt off. That was probably his favorite point of that battle royal.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. Yeah. But
but Becky and Charlotte by far was the fucking best match on the show.
Oh, absolutely.
Hands down.
I mean, and what's so amazing, because apparently, and I'm assuming, and you probably know more in this, but I guess the whole thing that went down on SmackDown the night they were supposed to transfer the belts to one another, that was supposed to be just a big hoopla with Charlotte, to the point that it was, things got out of hand. Supposedly she was, I guess, handcuffed or something out of the building. Whatever the boy. Yeah, I didn't think so. But whatever it is, the story went perfect because it just played along with this, played along with the entire beef in general. That just really made this match what it is. Just along with that entire night, if it was legit or not legit, or, whatever, and it turned out to be really good.
They have legit heat.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if it is a work, then it's a fucking brilliant work.
That's what I'm saying.
But because Ric Flair got involved, in his Twitter war with Becky.
I saw that, and I was wondering, was that, I mean, how do we know nowadays, right?
The only reason that you can
Well, the
kind
reason
of
why the point of his tweet was saying the idea of him really being the man, not her. I mean, that's just playing up to the man thing. It's not like there's some personal things being
well,
lashed out,
yeah,
you
well,
know.
no, but remember, she's not the man anymore. She's the
Oh,
Beck,
Rush, right. Yeah,
yeah, whatever the fucking Bex thing is.
right. Yeah.
So what Flair was saying was, um, I gave you, I allowed you to call yourself the man
Mm-hmm.
because that's been his thing for 40 fucking years. And, he looks at this as if, there's disrespect from her to Charlotte. And, I mean, it's a mess, dude. It's two egos that have gotten totally out of control.
Yeah.
And, if they played it up, it was played up pretty good, but, you know, let's face it, when, you know, Charlotte has been more, she's been doing more aggressive, and I don't know if this is Fox wanting it more aggressively on SmackDown,
Mm-hmm.
but at the beginning, she's yelling at Becky about how, she's not going to take her shit, essentially.
Right.
The term bitch was thrown around a couple times, and it wasn't. I mean, this is all stuff that's not on a mic, right? It's not being, they're not doing promos.
Right.
But after the match, when essentially Becky said, that you could tell your dad and tell the dirt sheets that, I'm better than you.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
And Charlotte's walking back and she's just laughing because, that again, it's like there, when everything is planned out in terms of what the outcome is going to be, right? So I think that when certain things like that happen, if Charlotte can audibly hear what Becky's saying,
Yeah.
It's almost like she's laughing because, oh, you want to keep fucking talking? We can continue this.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so either way, if it's a work or a shoot or a combination, it adds something to that. See, that's the other thing. Roman and Big E had nothing added to it. There was no, there was no real buildup to it.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why I say that, Charlotte and Becky should have been your final match, but the money is not there apparently for the women, because God forbid they can close any other fucking pay-per-views other than getting the WrestleMania moment. Like,
Right.
why can't they finish the Survivor Series? What the fuck?
Yeah. We got Justin hanging out with us. He actually felt that it was a waste of a pay-per-view. I don't think it was that bad, Justin, but there were some points in there that we talked about at the beginning that wasn't as good. But overall, I thought the show turned out to be all right. So,
well, and
yeah,
to be honest, the 15,000 fans in Brooklyn, they were pretty fucking electric for the stuff that was good.
Yeah, and they can be some assholes if they want. Yeah. In fact, Justin was also saying that they made a lot of different chants that they made up during the night. So listen, they started doing the wave. So when they got bored, they did stuff, but when they were into it, they were into it. So, and that place was packed. It was like old school watching, WWE back when they were just always sold out. It was amazing just how, how it was. So, but anyway, cool, man. Well, that'll be Survivor Series. Another event took place this weekend in Vegas, and that was Turning Point, Impact Wrestling's Impact Plus event, and that was really great. We were at the show, and hopefully you guys got a chance to check it out. I guess the two things that I just wanted to mention first is the match that you had with Mickie James and Mercedes Martinez. I really enjoyed that match, Michaels, and I didn't think I would, not because Mickie can't wrestle, not because Mercedes is a powerhouse, but just because first off, as we were watching the show, we also was putting in that work for the podcast. So sometimes it was just kind of hard to really keep up. But that was a match that I actually just watched from beginning to end. And I gotta tell you, man, it was it was really good. And Mercedes Martinez, man, she is just look, we always knew this in NXT that she was a beast, you know, and just the work that she does in the ring. But she definitely was showing her dominance in this ring as well. Although she didn't win against Mickie James, man, she is I actually still think, and it's whatever. I mean, you know, Deonna lost, and yes, Deonna did make a return, which was great after the match to beat up on Mickie James. But personally, yeah, stop it. Stop the yawning. Get out of here. I think she should have retained that title. And then if anybody she was going to lose it to would have been Mercedes, but not have that match to Hard to Kill, which is their next big event. That would have been the time to have lost it. So I'm not sure she's going to regain it back. It would be nice, but I don't think Mickey's going to hold that title for long. And if you're going to give it back to Deonna, you know, Mercedes is not going to have that belt for a minute. So I don't know, man. I'm great. Like I say, overall, I enjoy watching their match, and it was great again for me to see Deonna come back. And now knowing that they're going to have their rematch, we'll see where that goes. But I think the next woman that's going to be the powerhouse there is Mercedes, man. Yeah, that's going to be, and I want to see that match between her and Deonna. So I know you don't believe much in Deonna, but I'm looking forward to Hard to Kill to see where that goes. But of course, the other big
wait, really quick.
Yeah, man.
Did you realize that between Mercedes Martinez and Mickie James, the combined age in the ring was 83 years old?
I didn't know that for Mercedes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
she's been around.
I mean, I know she's not in her 20s, but I didn't think she was. I didn't know she was right there with. Okay.
Oh yeah, she's been around for almost 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Well, she definitely not looking like it or acting like it at all.
No,
and neither one of them, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that's one of the reasons that you probably will not see Mercedes possibly with that title, is because if you're going to put it on someone, you're probably going to put it back on Deonna, or if they sign, you know, Lord knows, you know, you've got other options now on the free agent market, that are going to be coming, and also you got Chelsea Green, and you know that's another person who, you know, you kind of want to see in that, at least that realm. And then you still got Jordan Grace, and yeah, you put a social media title on her, but what is, you know, what good is that really? So
yeah. Well, outside of that, we got a chance to see Josh Alexander, which I didn't think I was going to see on the show. And he cut a promo, which I was right there with him. And in fact, he said, look, not only I will get the belt, but I'm gonna sit on the front row to watch this match. And which I was expecting for him to go over there and have a seat and enjoy this match that was going to happen for the main event. But look who made their debut, Jonah. Jonah is here. And man, listen, I used to talk about, I never talk a lot about a lot of the NXT talent over the past years, but Bronson Reed was always the one I was just constantly saying, man, I just love the build on him, how his theme, his video package, and just overall how he's just became this monster house in the ring. Man, I was I was shocked when he was one of the ones that was let go, but I knew wherever he would end up, he was going to be awesome. And I'm glad it ended up being Impact. He made he definitely just shocked everyone and showed that he's going to be a destruction, going to be a champion too in the future. How excited was you, man, to see that he came in and it sucked that it had to be on Josh. Josh can't catch a freaking break for nothing, man. I mean, come on. Why you gotta attack Josh? Last time Josh was in that ring, he was humiliated by Moose. Now he getting beat down by Jonah. Come on, man. Give some love to Josh. I can't wait till he get the belt. Me and that guy in the front row who always have that Canadian flag, we're going to be the biggest one celebrating because apparently we can't get our night.
You know what's really remarkable, though, is after the show, 2 straight now pay-per-views that you're standing there in the hallway and Moose comes out. Oh, Moose, great job. Great job. It was really good, Moose. It was really good. Yet you sit here and you go, yeah, I want to see Josh Alexander win the championship, not Moose.
Yeah, well, why would I not still give the horrible worker? But why do I need to tell them that I don't want him to have the belt? I don't need to tell him that.
Well, what I'm saying is, why are you against the culture, man?
You know what? Maybe he's against the culture. Oh, I don't know.
First of all, not only is it against the culture, you're going against the culture, but you're going against our country. You want a white bread Canadian to be the champion over an ass-kicking African-American, just god of a man. All right.
You know what? Cool. You something else. Of course you would try to play that card. Shame on you, Matt Michaels. Man, you go sit in the corner for that. Anyways, yes, Josh took the beat down, but but shout out to Jonah, man. It was great seeing him make his debut. And just kind of just kind of reading some of the comments here that Justin's making. And thanks for hanging out with us, Justin, tonight. Said Eddie and Josh need to have a face of the company match. So I think if that was the case, Josh would definitely. I like Eddie. Wait, we like Eddie Edwards, but come on, man.
Well, Josh, we're gonna be seeing what's gonna happen because so Morrissey wins the number 1 contenders match.
Right. Yep.
But Morrissey also is not under contract. Contract's up. So they're trying to work on something. They definitely want to keep him. But he's a smart guy. He's gonna want to go where the money is. So by the time they get to the January pay-per-view, I think it's January, right?
Yep.
The next one, yeah.
Yep.
Hard to Kill. So if things don't work out with the number 1, with him being number 1 contender because of his contract, then you're probably going to see, either Josh get his chance or Eddie get a rematch, because I think that the other thing you would most likely see, right, is Josh versus Jonah on that pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
So we might see W. Morrissey against Moose, and then Josh versus Jonah, which would be your essentially your number one contenders match.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, that match with Moose and Eddie, man, we knew going in that it was just going to be crazy. And especially when you're adding ladders and chairs and then all the hidden items under the ring. Um, man, you're talking about a brutal, especially the move off of the ladder. I guys, that's definitely just a match just worth checking out if you didn't get a chance to see it. It's also one of those ones that you go, okay, and these are the type of matches I love, where you go, okay, we know you go in it going, all right, we know Moose is going to win. He's not going to lose it. On the other hand, the performance is being done so well that you're like, well, is he? Because Eddie looked like he was coming on pretty strong in there. That's how great that really was. So yeah, I mean, awesome match between those two, an awesome main event. And overall, yeah.
What the funniest thing is though, like you said, getting power bombed onto the ladder, bringing out the chain and using the chain,
yeah,
the pans and the garbage can lids and the chairs,
kendo sticks, and yeah,
all that stuff. But yet it comes down to the fact that Eddie Edwards gets slammed on the exposed
wood.
And that was it. Because that was the most brutal thing you could do, is land on the wood.
Right. Well, after taking all of those hits and then getting slammed on the wood, yeah, that I see that. But there's no way that you could just get slammed onto the wood and lose. You got to have all that extra stuff in there too, But yeah, that was interesting to see, man. Overall, I mean, it was an Impact Plus event, man, but it was a pay-per-view style. I mean, all the matches were really good. Again, we got a chance to see Bullet Club, Chris Bay again. The hometown just loves Chris Bay, and he just puts on the show, man. I mean, he
he can't win.
Well, that's true. You know what? He needs to have his celebration here. They need to give him his win here.
Fuck it. I just give him the win in January at Hard to Kill. They should have the blow off match between Bullet Club and
the Good Brothers.
And that would finally make sense on why he's getting pinned for the past couple times that they've done these title matches. So
yeah,
if you do that, great. Otherwise, well, shit, if he just wins a match here, it would be fucking celebration at that point. So
yeah, and I guess it doesn't make so is the whole idea of Bullet Club now? I mean, we know that used to be like a real powerful type of faction. Is it kind of treated like as a joke now? Your take?
No, not at all.
Well, I mean, so going back to the fact that why can't he get a win? And definitely since he's now a part of it, the Bullet Club.
They're wrestling Bullet Club guys. The Good Brothers were Bullet Club.
I do know that, yeah.
So
but not, yeah.
Well, yeah, but they're the fucking Good Brothers. The guys who just show up on AEW and fucking ruin all those matches. You expect them to just give up the fucking tag titles in this company?
Dude, they've had the titles for a minute.
Yeah. And to me, it says, hey, we don't want to put guys over. So I don't know what the working relationship is. But a lot of times when guys like Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers are not, dropping titles because they don't really fucking need them, that kind of says, I think we're better than these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know also what the backstage atmosphere is like, who's making the decisions, who's making the calls on that particular thing. But the way Chris has lost those matches lends itself to it hasn't been legitimate, right? I mean, here we got Trunks pulled, so that's why it seems like they're allowing them to lose in a manner they're still chasing.
Yeah.
And if at the pay-per-view they fucking win the titles, then that should be the culmination. If they don't even get a shot at the pay-per-view, or if they
Mhm.
lose that match, then you just fucking wasted the time. And and plus, we talk about Chris, of course, because he is really, really talented,
Right.
exceptionally talented. But I mean, Herculeo is good. He's very good, man.
Right.
Herculeo was, it's a good combination for a tag team, man.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
let's at least do something different. Put some titles on some new people.
Yeah,
Why
it would
not?
be nice. Yeah. And in the comment, Justin put, yeah, Bullet Club, I think, has control of their matches.
Probably.
So I guess we'll see where that goes, but it would be nice for them to go ahead and get those titles for sure. It would be. Um, Outside of that, man, there was other stuff, but is there anything else about last night's show that we really wanted to just kind of shine some light into, or
the
and by the
Jordan.
way, and hold on, just shout out to the
Yeah.
crowd, man. The
Oh,
crowd
yeah.
was awesome. I mean, everybody showed out again. I mean, Vegas has really just been showing Impact just, the love since getting back out here. I mean, of course we done that before the pandemic, but now coming out of it, since I think outside of Nashville, they've only been to Vegas, and that's been the largest, crowd and that they've had, more than what they have in Nashville. So shout out for Vegas. Shout out for you guys just coming out and enjoying the show. I mean, you're talking about Brooklyn on fire tonight. Vegas was the same way last night as well. So we appreciate you guys, man. But go ahead. What else did you want to highlight about?
Jordan Grace and Chelsea Green.
Yes.
They put on a really good match.
Yeah.
That was, technically a pre-show match. That was really good. You got to give it up too for Laredo Kid and Trey Miguel and fucking Macklin. Macklin is just.
I told you about Macklin. I told you this guy, this guy's a beast, man. Forget the whole size. He might not have the Trey quickness or the Loretto, high flying moves, but everything he puts in those matches is like, dude, this guy's the beast. If he gets one off on you, you can be knocked out. Yeah, shout out to him for sure.
Yeah. So, that's again, it's overall is going to be a better show than what you'll see on an AEW pay-per-view.
Oh, where is Sin City Steve? This should be his cue right now to be just dialing into the show saying, I hear my name being said.
Yeah, ironically, he's at where? Oh, Impact Wrestling.
Right. Well, yeah, because apparently, why does AEW doing all their shows in the same area, in the East Coast, in Chicago, then East Coast, Northeast, South? Why they don't make their way towards the West? I mean, is there any reason for that?
Yeah, because they're smart. What happens is if you start branching out too far west, you're spending more money. So what they do is they concentrate on the areas that they know. They're fucking running Chicago again.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's the same places.
And the reason they're doing it is because the money is still there. Now, they will be heading west. And they will be heading to Las Vegas.
Do we have to really wait till May to see that? Should they already been making their way?
No, because it costs them more money. And
I get it that it costs money. I get it. I get the idea, but listen, there's still, I get what you're saying too. I mean, if the money keeps coming to the same places and you don't have to do extra travel from a business standpoint, that makes sense. I get it. But at the same time, I'm assuming Tony Khan's got big pockets, that it's not going to hurt him to the point to start making his way. Look, he's camped as far as Texas, so you can't do a New Mexico show. You can't do a Utah, Nevada show. You can't.
No. Why would you do it right now when you want to keep that anticipation hot?
Is it?
Think about it.
Is the
Think about it.
anticipation of him coming west really that hot?
Dude, when those tickets go on sale for the pay-per-view out here, they're going to be gone within minutes.
And the game plan is just to keep us anticipating till May.
Yes.
And that, okay.
Why would you not?
What is the point? So what's the difference between May and now?
Okay, so
because if you're going to come,
I'll tell you what the difference is.
All
you
right.
were not a WCW fan.
That's correct.
During the height of WCW and their fandom, when they were out traveling, they were making money. Then, as the fandom starts to back off a little bit, what happens is you've already seen them. And what then happens is you're spending more money in your trucks, in your crews, and everything that goes along with the travel. And the more you come out to the same place over, the less of an audience you're going to get, right? Right now, they're playing it smart because the guy who does the booking for the venues, he was firsthand, got to see the mistakes made by WCW, and also ECW made the same mistakes. Paul Heyman tried running, out in other areas, and they had no resources, and they were doing it in hoping to get people, and they went belly up. And TNA, the same thing happened with TNA. So it's a smart move. It's one of the smartest things that they've done, because you're never going to lose fans in Chicago or New York. All right. They can always run those towns.
But you're gonna lose fans in LA, Phoenix, and Vegas.
You're not. You think Sin City gives a shit that they haven't been out here? Sure, he'd like to see him live, but he's not.
Yeah, but you're also saying that if they come out here now, that they might not anticipate fans coming to watch them in May.
Exactly.
I don't know, man. That sounds crazy to me.
I
hear what you're saying.
But again, it costs more money. See, it's not the anticipation of the fans. It's a business model. And if you look at the WWE, they're running house shows again. Why? Because they are taking advantage of the fact that they need those house shows to recoup some of that money. Okay. AEW didn't. And so why is AEW not even running house shows? Because they don't need to right now. But it's not benefiting the wrestlers, I'll tell you that much, because they'd be getting more work if they were doing house shows, and a lot of those green talent will get better by doing house shows. So there's reasons they should be fucking touring, but they're not going to, especially if you're going to do TV. Now, if they were doing house shows out here, okay, that might be a way to do it. But if you're doing TV out here, you're screwing yourself for particularly getting what they want is the news of the quick sale, right? You want to be able to say, oh my God, we were in Vegas, we sold out in 3 minutes, because that keeps you looking very relevant.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I don't know. I'm not willing to agree with that. I will say it definitely costs more money anytime you're traveling across the state. That part is true. But I also believe that as you're building your brand, there are you want to keep that hype. You want to keep that hypeness being built.
But
and
you just said something that really proves the whole thing. And that's very simple. They're not building their brand. Look at the ratings. No,
Okay.
serious. I mean, I'm dead serious. Look at the ratings.
I got you.
They
Well, that
are
part's
not
true.
building the brands. They are very, again, you got to look at Tony Khan's different because he's not in this to be making, dollars hand over fist. He's in this to fucking brag. He's got a wrestling company. He's got wrestling buddies. He's a rich kid who owns a fucking wrestling company. He don't care if he fucking comes out here and, plays out here. The WWE, they have to, because that's the way you keep your brand alive.
Exactly. And I guess that's how I'm looking at that.
Yeah, and they don't care.
Yeah, right.
You don't care.
Got you. Yeah. Well, speaking a little bit of some AEW, we had Dynamite, and it was National Cowboy Shit Day. Did you enjoy that, man? Did you enjoy? No.
I'll say it was shit.
You know what though, man? So I do enjoy Brian Danielson. It's just unfortunate, and maybe okay. I do think it's unfortunate that he's got to fight every member of the Dark Order. I guess until he gets his hand on Hangman Page, and it's not to say anything about the match that he had. Who did he have a fight with? Which one of the members? I don't know their fucking names.
Fucking Evil 10 Deuce Uno number 7.
Right. So it wasn't like it was a bad
Evil Uno was the one.
It wasn't like it was a bad match, but the question I was asking myself as I was watching it is, do I care? That was what that's what it came down to, and to see what the storyline is moving forward. But watching Brian, do his thing, I mean, that part, yeah.
So, and not to cut you off, but in looking at some recaps to refresh my memory on the card, right? Forbes gives a good recap because there ain't all these fucking pop-ups that you can't see what you're looking at.
Sure.
Now, the guy who wrote this on Forbes, which I find very spectacular of what you just said.
Okay.
Here's the difference between what you said about building the brand and the reason that they don't give a shit about building their brand, because Tony Khan doesn't get that he's not making it bigger. He's just placating to a base.
Right.
Okay. He's talking about the Evil Uno match. And he says this week's Bryan Danielson finisher of the week was the triangle choke. Bryan Danielson running through the Dark Order is going to be amazing television. So it's really funny because that is exactly the difference. The difference is the AEW fans really like to suck each other off.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Yeah, because that would make more sense if the Dark Order was if they weren't fucking enhancement talent.
Yeah. That's all they are.
Right.
Like, is there anyone in that group that you're going, man, I can't wait till they're a fucking champion. They're going to get the shine one day. No.
Right.
No. And on top of that, like I argued, I think it was last week with Steve, is so instead of having Miro win the fucking match and having him go against Page at the pay-per-view, which would have been such a good fucking matchup and logical, you have to have, because all the fans, all the AEW fans, all these smart marks want to see Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page. Bullshit. Who the fuck is Hangman Page, man? I'm sorry. I know, seriously, man. I've watched a guy and I'm like, there's a reason he wasn't pushed, because he kind of sucks. I'm sorry.
Well, that's going to be very, if as we talked about last week, I mean, if what you're saying is kind of the reality, to throw the belt on to him now, he's going to have a hard hill to climb. Unless, I'm saying, probably with new wrestling fans, with their base, they'll love it. They're going to scream and holler. But
that's it.
Yeah.
Who is this guy to anyone just tuning into TV? Why should I have to invest into this guy, especially when you're wrestling Bryan Danielson, who now has to all of a sudden become a heel,
right,
to play this angle?
Yeah.
You know, this guy in Forbes did point out, and this is something that, you know, in watching it, I noticed right away too, and I'm sure many fans noticed this. What's one way to get your fucking you know, AEW fans all in a fucking tizzy? Oh, say that this guy isn't a WrestleMania main eventer.
Right. Yeah.
So now Bryan Danielson has to turn on the crowd to make them apparently try to turn on him, because I think they even anticipate the fact that if they don't do shit like that, Bryan Danielson is going to be the one cheered in that match.
Right.
And your babyface champion, who you've spent all this time trying to build up over this fucking Kenny Omega bullshit, you know, build up and feud, whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah.
You know, now you got the problem where you're putting him in a guy who is so popular, and for casual viewers who are going to flip in and see that, you know, this guy is wrestling Hangman, the casual viewers who know the WWE guy they're going to cheer for the WWE guy. They might watch for the WWE guy. They might buy the pay-per-view for the WWE guy, who's not going to win against the AEW guy, which means that they're not going to buy another pay-per-view because the guy that they know didn't win.
Right. Yeah. Good points there, man.
And I bet you Steve would tell you absolutely those points were horrible. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm glad that now we can have a discussion on AEW the way it should be, because normally when it's just you and him or me and him, we have to kind of make them feel a little good, but now we don't got to think about that at all. Another match, you know, so the Orange Cassidy Tomohiro Ishii versus the Butcher and the Blade. So listen, this is my problem with Matt Lycus, because I know sometimes you give New Japan, you give them some shit, and I'm beginning to find some pointers now that I'm beginning to have some issues with, as I'm beginning to learn a lot of the guys I see that not only come from AEW but also be over in Impact. It's all these guys who are considered great. I'm assuming they were great, but at this point, I don't understand why they're there now. They're aged to a point where they only could do so much. So I'm watching Tomohiro Ishii, which apparently is you know, he's the never open weight who just beat Jay White, which that had to be interesting how the hell he did that, but that's okay. And I'm watching, and at the most that I thought was entertaining or that he did was when, and I don't know which one of the guys, I don't know if it's a Butcher or the Blade, but whenever he's you know, hitting him against the ring, you know, Ishii is not being faded by it to the point where he just looks at him and walks more in the ring and walks back as he keeps hitting them. And I'm like, all right, I guess that's kind of cool, but I can't see how he's cheered for what apparently he's supposed to be about right now. And I'm finding this, what I'm saying, Matt, with all, boy, I shouldn't be saying this, man. Because I like New Japan, right? Because they have a lot of, you know, you might have like your Jeff Cobbs or your Jay White over there, but they also have their, you know, their veterans, I guess, or we want to call Hall of Famers, that apparently they still make them if they're still.
Remember, DJ,
Yeah.
remember, and I'm gonna use the fact that, remember, these guys are John Cena and Goldberg and Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. It's the same comparison. So that
Right.
gives you a frame of reference. That's why. The difference is that those guys aren't going to Japan and, getting pushed in Japan like they should be
Right.
going over on Japan guys. I'll tell you though, what was funny to me is you have this apparent strong style wrestler, this
Right.
legend teaming with Orange fucking Cassidy.
Yeah.
That says it right there. But out of everything, and again, I'm going to turn to this Forbes magazine article or Forbes online, recap,
Yeah.
because this tells you how much this really has an impact in terms of, how much bullshit you're going to spew, and then how it really doesn't make any sense, because his final thing on this match was, he said, AEW had Tomohiro Ishii walk out to Orange Cassidy's music and also had him start the match, which was odd because the crowd certainly seemed familiar with Ishii.
Right.
This match had a great finishing sequence. That ended when the Blade used a very safe brainbuster to beat the Blade. So, here's a guy who's supposed to be reporting, and
Right.
he can't even get his shit together to fucking write something that makes sense, because it doesn't fucking make sense. And you just have to kiss their asses to fucking put shit out there.
Right.
And there you go. But you're absolutely right. These guys look like, the same thing in seeing.
Look, if John Cena, because I love seeing John Cena, but the minute John Cena comes to the ring, and all he started to do in the entire time in the ring is that shoulder punch he does. If that's the only thing he does the entire time, I don't get an AA, I don't get a FU, I don't get a body slam. All I'm gonna get is these shoulder lunges. I'm like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see. To me, it's like you should just go ahead and hang that up. If you can still perform some of the other things that you did, then that's another thing. I'm not trying to tell you. I'm not expecting you to go the way you were back in the day, but I'm expecting more than what I'm seeing, is what I'm saying.
But here's the interesting thing as well, though. And I think that you can argue with Cena, with Goldberg, with Edge. What are you seeing them do? And that is, they are doing the same thing that they've done.
Right. Yes.
But the American style of the sports entertainment lends itself where they can do that, and you can feel comfortable watching it because you don't have to. I mean, listen, Goldberg has never had to do anything other than a spear and a jackhammer to make fans happy,
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely, yeah.
The worst thing Goldberg has done in his career is age, because now it's like, oh, he's too old. Well, it's funny because Suzuki wrestled on fucking Impact, right?
Right.
I honestly thought that to me, I was looking at it going, so this old man is beating the fuck out of Josh Alexander. Right. Talk about Josh Alexander getting fucked again.
This is what I'm saying. Right.
Yeah. So, and that's the same thing here with, like, why are you putting these guys over when it's because you're placating to the fans who think that this is fucking phenomenal because we're getting to see things we never got to see. Yeah, but if they're fucking 50 years old,
right,
and you hate Goldberg because he's in his 50s, but this motherfucker because he's from Japan, oh my God, he's great.
Yeah,
that's the bullshit that goes on.
Absolutely. I guess at one point, I guess so. Out of the entire show, I do like the team of Leo Rush and Dante Martin. I do like. I mean, Dante Martin is he's phenomenal. That they got right. I'll give him that.
Love me some Dante Martin. He is going to be so good in WWE when he gets when he leaves, because I mean, honestly, like, listen, Leo Rush is great, but he's,
All right, yeah, sure.
the thing is that they're gonna fuck up Dante Martin. They're going to fuck him up because, again, how is Dante Martin going to shine when you keep bringing in all these WWE guys, the X guys,
Right.
and you're bringing in all these Japan guys? So the fact that they're even, take Leo Rush out of the equation, right?
Okay.
Does Dante Martin get a match on the Dynamite that week? And on top of that, you have them go over on the Acclaimed, one of your only fucking tag teams that is an original tag team, not,
Which I like the Acclaim too. You're right though. Yeah.
So and I enjoy their work, but it's like, so then you're putting those two tag teams against each other. So what do you get? I mean, but again, they know how to book
Right. And I
better
guess
than anyone else. So.
and the storyline with that is, I guess, Team Taz is trying to sign Dante Martin. So come on over the Team Taz. I'm like, oh my Lord. Okay. All right. Let me go along with it.
And they said something really fucking ridiculous, like, because it was regarding Will Hobbs being his 1-year anniversary.
Right. Yeah.
And something was said to the extent of Taz, I think it was Taz or Sammy, whoever had the mic, said 1 year, and he's been the hottest thing in the business, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's done nothing in a year because you fucking haven't given him anything in a year to make him look fucking like a monster.
Right. Yeah.
This Team Taz thing is fucking awful.
It is.
And I love Taz, and guess what? He is really good still on commentary, and he's great on Rampage. And you know what? Fucking have him just end his shit. All right. Ricky Starks will be great on his own. The guy can handle himself.
Yeah.
Hook might not.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons I think that there is this little lingering thing, is because if there's no Team Taz, what's Hook gonna fucking do?
Right.
But put Taz on commentary, get rid of JR, let him do other things, or get rid of fucking El Masco Stupido. Or let Shivani just be the wax mannequin he is backstage now. Jesus Christ.
Well, he does move his finger when it comes to saying DMD, and that's about it. So you will get that.
The only part of his body won't break off from plastic surgery. Jesus.
Listen, we're all fans of MJF. The guy is just phenomenal, and it was great to see him back out there doing a promo. But now apparently it's about to be with CM Punk, and now it goes to like, so I guess CM Punk wins again, and now MJF is now going to take the loss. So what's the purpose? That's what there's going to lead up to.
So here's the thing. Again, I'm using this article because this guy just gets so much fodder for this bullshit.
Oh, good. Okay.
So my initial reaction, I was so just like, you just fucking, why the fuck do you have CM Punk even come out if he's just going to stand in the ring, look at MJF, just kind of chuckle and leave?
Right.
You're taking a guy who is your top motherfucking person in, and the guy that you better put buckets of money fucking up to.
Right. Yeah.
Because he by far was the most entertaining thing on the show, again, as he tends to be.
Yep.
So this guy says CM Punk did not say a word to MJF, as AEW is wisely waiting until they have time to promote their face-to-face showdown. Well, if you're going to have them go face-to-face and not promote it, why do it?
Yeah.
Fucking right. Dude, again, but Tony Khan knows how to book. So Ted Turner, you can put your pencil away. I know that you're not as good of a booker as Tony Khan. So
CM Punk is just so He's definitely smart. I gotta commend this guy. He waited and he waited until he
Some
could find
idiot,
it,
some idiot.
so he can find that person who is gonna give him what he wants, and he ain't gotta do shit. Man, that dude is smart. I mean, I actually think his shit might actually even be better than fucking Brock's. Because Brock at least went in, and when Brock has to have his match, it's pretty intense. I haven't seen any intense from CM Punk yet. Okay.
And on top of it, you get him on Rampage getting to go. Hey, yeah, I'm gonna be going to Chicago. So who do I want to wrestle in Chicago? Oh, QT Marshall. Because why do I have to fucking break a sweat? I'm gonna wrestle that fuck in Chicago. I'm gonna get fucking cheered like a god, and I'm gonna go against the fucking guy that you know that is at best a good teacher, but for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, well, shout out to him, man. He played that one. The last thing I want to mention about the show, and hopefully you watched Rampage, because I didn't. But okay. But for Dynamite, the main event, Sammy Guevara and Jay Lethal. Now, we all know that I am a huge, and this was for the TNT title. I am a huge Jay Lethal fan, of course. I still don't know how I feel. My first reactions of hearing that he with AEW is not a good feeling, only because I've known the work he put in Ring of Honor, and he's elevating himself to a point that I didn't want him doing the shit like he just had on this show. He dominated. He looked good, which he should against Sammy. And that's not taking nothing away from Sammy. But the reality of it is you don't have Jay Lethal unless you really are planning on, I guess, doing a rematch, and somehow he eventually does get this title. And I don't see that happening. Why would you have this match and have him job out to a person who Jay was whipping his ass the entire time, doing all types of great moves? I'm just like, look at Jay, just still doing awesome shit, even at his age. Just the guy seems like he's like oh man, I can't. Phenomenal, AJ Styles.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. And so and Sammy gets off two of his moves with his knees to finish the match, and I'm just like, all right. And this is part of the reason why when I heard about it, I'm like, I almost rather for him if he couldn't just have waited it out to see what this revamp of ROH was going to turn out. Maybe he just hold out or go elsewhere. But nevertheless, yeah, go ahead, man.
There is no elsewhere. Okay, because the only elsewhere for him is Impact, and Impact is not going to do anything better for him. Honestly, Jay Lethal made a smart decision. Take the money.
Yeah.
Please take the money. Smart.
True.
And he can be an influence, but he is going to be a mid-card jobber essentially. But
some bullshit, man.
It is. And you know what? It's not bullshit if this match happened 6 weeks from now with a buildup.
Mm-hmm.
His first fucking match in the company, what did they do? You get a title match and you lose. So there you go.
Right.
It's just, they think they know what they're doing in terms of what is best for signing all this new talent and then utilizing them. And
like you would think as a business guy, if you're a wrestling, you're a person who claims that you know the business, familiar, if you watch the history of Jay, if anything, if you were going to put him in that match, this should have been a conversation that if you ready, first, it shouldn't have happened that fast, but if you were ready to pull that lever, You should have been ready to have that talk with Sammy and be like, man, you're the future. You're gonna get this shit later on. In fact, you're gonna even get the Impact. I'm not the Impact. I'm the AEW World title. But right now, you're about to lose this shit, lose this TNT because I got to get this belt over to Jay. Jay is too relevant in the industry.
No, he's too.
to-
But he's no.
I'm just saying.
No, but the reason this hurts is, first of all, you're a mark for Jay Lethal. Okay,
I am a mark for Jay.
So that's one of the reasons. That's fine. But the bigger reason that this hurts is because there was no build. You wouldn't.
That's true. That's true.
You would not feel the same way if that there was a great fucking buildup and they took 6 to 8 weeks to execute something that made sense for him to get this title shot, and then for him not to win it for whatever reason that forwards another story.
Right.
That's the problem. You know, there is no forward stories with a lot of the shit that they do. And Lethal said, by the way, Lethal has said recently in an interview that the one person that he wants to wrestle, he hasn't wrestled, is Jericho. And you have a guy in Jericho's crew. And at the end, I was waiting for Lethal to turn around and clock Jericho. Or at the very least, they could have had Jericho costs, Lethal the match. Makes sense.
Right.
Then you can build up Jay versus Chris. That would have been fucking good. Great. If Lethal wants to wrestle Jericho.
And at one point I had a quick hope. I was like, well, maybe Jay will turn heel. Like you were saying, well, in your way, I didn't think about hitting Jericho, but they did the whole thing where Sammy at the end put his hand out. Now, again, if you watch Ring of Honor, Jay Lethal was always, the whole idea of the foundation was about having respect in the wrestling industry. You shake the man's hand.
That's why it's called Ring of Honor.
Right.
Seriously, that was
so. Just think, when he put his hands out, you just looked at his hand and pretty much just left. That would have been totally opposite of what Jay. And I was thinking, I'm like, okay, maybe something good. And then no, he fucking shakes his hand, and I was done. I was like, okay, I'm done.
So along those lines, going on to Rampage, because it's kind of along the kind of same idea and weird shit that they do.
Yeah.
Darby Allin goes against Billy Gunn. So first of all, by the way,
I saw the promo and I was shaking my head doing Dynamite, going, why is Billy Gunn going? And then, okay, well, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was thrown off by that when I saw that.
Once again, you talk about a guy who Darby Allin looked like a fucking kid, because Billy Gunn is a big dude.
Yes.
So, okay, I gotta get past that, right? So they wrestle, and basically Darby wins because, why would he lose?
Sure.
But then the Gun Club, Billy and his 2 kids, come in, and they ended up, Sting comes down to help Darby, and they fucking took down Sting. Billy Gunn takes down Sting, and then the 2 kids take down Darby, essentially, and they posed over the fallen body. So we're setting up a Gun Club versus Darby and Sting thing, apparently.
Okay.
That was Darby Allin, your TNT champ, the guy who was supposed to be the guy they were pushing to the future of your company.
Right.
Even though he got a win over Billy Gunn, they ended up humiliated by the Gun Club. So, and of course, Billy Gunn,
yeah,
he needs it because, what is he?
Yeah.
He's almost 60, I think. Legitimately. Yeah. So.
Right.
So then you got the Jay Cardinal fucking Red Velvet match, which was fucking just tedious. It was a commercial break too in there. So it was that long for the moving on in the tournament for that
Oh,
the new
okay.
TBS women's title.
Right. Okay.
And Jade, of course, is gonna fucking win. So
Sure.
it was a waste. It was a fucking waste. It was horrible. She most likely is going to end up beating I'm assuming Ruby Soho will get the win here this coming week, and then she'll beat Ruby, and it will probably be Jade versus Thunder Rosa in the finals, and Thunder Rosa most likely will lose to Jade. If that happens, fuck AEW.
Well,
y'all can,
at least you're already prepared for that.
yeah,
Just
fuck off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your main event was Adam Cole and Bobby Fish, because they were friends going way back, blah blah blah. No, NXT made them fucking names to wrestling fans,
Right.
not you fucking marks out there. So what do? You put them together because we're not the WWE, so fuck off.
Yeah.
But luckily they had them lose to Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
Okay.
But Adam Cole, of course, did not take the loss.
Oh, of course. Oh no. No.
Bobby Fish got in a submission.
Right.
So and then, of course, as it says here, the Young Bucks did do their best to interfere on behalf of Cole and Fish, but Christian Cage runned out with his steel chair friend.
Oh, okay.
And then that's how it allowed Jungle Boy to get the snare trap on Bobby Fish. So that match was dog shit, essentially, to be honest. I just was like, this is fucking bad.
Yeah.
Not
Like you wanted your hour back. You was pissed off you gave it to you gave them that 1 hour. You wanted it back, and I understand the frustration.
Well, you want to get it. So my buddy texted me earlier today. Did you see Meltzer gave 5 stars to the Elite versus Lucha Jungle Christian? That match was awful. He even said that match was awful, and he was at the tape, the live things in Minnesota. So he was at the pay-per-view, and he thought the pay-per-view was great, which is like, yeah, you were in the crowd, so you probably did. He saw that match on fucking TV, and he's just like, it's fucking dog shit. Meltzer's given that 5 stars. So
there you have it. Awesome journalism coming from good old Meltzer. Oh man, well, man. I think we've covered most of wrestling last week and this weekend, and we want to thank everybody for listening to the podcast, or if you with us here live tonight, thank you for hanging out. And look, don't be upset if you're a huge AEW fan. These are just, our opinions. You may feel completely, in fact, you do feel completely different about that. And that's cool. When you beat down on WWE, we don't take offense. That's how you feel about it, So it is what it is. And don't worry, Sin City Steve will be back to defend AEW as he does. But we definitely have a lot of questions from what we see happening. And apparently, even if you're a mark for AEW, I would think you should think something's wrong too. For one reason, you're not topping 1 million. And the fact that since you had CM Punk there when he first came, when you had that 1 million, it has just gotten worse since. So the question is, are we really being assholes to AEW, or maybe is there something we're saying that other people are seeing too? That's the question I would leave with you.
And I think you're right, and I think that's a valid question, and I think that what you have to take in consideration is you need to remove yourself from the blinders of being like, this is the greatest thing,
right?
And go, why are there no new viewers being created?
Right.
Exactly. Because that demo, that the thing that they've been able to brag about is that 18 to 49. Well, that 18 to 49 has also been fluctuating recently.
Right.
So
yeah,
that's the whole thing. And again, we don't want to see the company fail.
Right.
And one of the
Exactly.
reasons that you don't fail is that you build new fans who, to them, this is the product that they know before they know the WWE.
Yeah.
And they're not doing that. They're catering to the people who just don't like the WWE.
Right.
That's the problem. If you don't get the kids now to get them before they see WWE and make them AEW fans, it's not going to last. It's not going to survive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us. This is a couple of notes. If you're in the Vegas area or somewhere nearby, there is another TV taping of Impact Wrestling that's going to happen tomorrow night, which is Monday. Now, if you're listening to this on a podcast, this is released on a Monday. So, I mean, it would be the night of, but we record this on Sunday. So if you happen to be in town, go check it out. It's at Sam's Town. There are still some tickets available. So keep that out. Michaels, is there any other local wrestling or anything else that we should mention that's coming up that we should talk about? Which I know there is. Go ahead.
Yeah, Saturday, November 27th, at
Yeah.
Diversion Amusements. You're going to see No Escape with Brian Cage versus Hammerstone for the
That's gonna be,
FSW
it's gonna be crazy.
Heavyweight Championship. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll see Graves versus Tom Lawler in a shoot style, natural born killers style match. And
Yeah.
then you get 4 cage matches, number 1 contendership match, which right now, some of the names in that for the No Limits Championship, it's going to be Jay Vidal and Danny Limelight's in that match.
Okay.
There are a couple other names that were mentioned that I can't get off the top of my head here. Gatson might be in that one too.
Okay.
And then you're getting the Nevada State Championship in the cage match with the Class defending against Remy Marcel.
All right.
You're getting
Nice.
the Matt Vandergriff versus Damian Drake weapons cage match. You'll get a 3-parter here of Damian Drake coming out this week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to hear his take on their friendship and how they became the Unguided and what happened to lead to the betrayal when Matt turned on him. And then your main event is going to be Chris Bay versus Ice Williams for the No Limits Championship.
Right.
So, and again, that's a cage match. So 4 cage matches, thus it being called No Escape.
Right.
And you'll also see Toko Uso on that card against Toko Uso is going in a 3-way tag team match for the tag championships against Death Proof, and I am blanking on the third team in that match off the top of my head. Oh, it's Shogun and Hero Lou. So
Okay.
it's gonna be a big boy banger match. That's gonna be pretty fucking huge. So
yeah, absolutely. So that's Thanksgiving weekend, guys. If you have a family in town and they're wrestling fans too, or maybe they're not, they just want to see a cool show, definitely look it up. FSW website. I'm sure you can just Google FSW if it's not fsw.com, but check it out, grab some tickets, go to the show. It's going to be great. And again, that would be
or watch on Fight TV.
ITV, that's
You're
correct.
Anywhere in the country, order it on Fight TV.
That's right. Anywhere around the country. Man, all right. That is it. Thank you guys for hanging out. If you're listening to us, we're going to be recording 3 Count next live. But if you are listening to us on the podcast, make sure to download 3 Count because it's going to be a really good one. We're not going to so much have 3 topics, but we're mostly going to talk about the releases that has happened with WWE, and it's more of just kind of a discussion that we're going to have. So I think you're going to really want to listen to this, and you're going to probably have your own thoughts too. So we thank you for hanging out with us. We will see you next week. Happy Thanksgiving to you. We don't get to you to listen to any of our other podcasts. Enjoy it with your family, and we hope to see you back the following week.